Welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do. What I want to do right now is hopefully a shorter video, but just an example of the written word versus the spoken word. This is the phrase that I took from a song and I was examining it quite a while ago. It's, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little, right? Why don't you just meet me in the middle? So as you can see here, I've got everything out spelled the way we're programmed to spell it, written word, except for the U. And obviously, if I did it all that way, it would be, why don't you just meet me in the middle? Whereas there are many different spellings to pronounce the same sound. Why don't you just meet me in the middle? Why don't you just meet me in the middle? Why don't you just meet me in the middle? So when I'm examining that phrase, I'm listening to the song and I'm hearing it. And then I'm checking it out here through what would be written word. For this to be spoken word, you'd have to play around with all of the different things that could be changed, like the why, all the different forms of why that we got out there. You would have to look through this application that I'm trying to get clearance now from YouTube to be able to share links so that everybody who wants it can get it. Hopefully that'll happen soon. But to use this application to analyze the spoken word, you would have to translate for yourself all of the different possibilities that the spoken word is providing you and look at them through the written word here in all their different ways. This is calculating written word. So when it's spoken, it can be, you can hear different things, right? If I said the word, just the word you, to a bunch of people all over the place and had them spell what they just heard, right? Probably the majority of them that know English will spell Y-O-U, but you're going to get all of the different answers. Y-E-W, just the letter U, E-W-E, probably your most. You'll get Y-O-U as number one answer, then you'll get the letter U as number two answer, and then possibly E-W-E, Y-E-W, three and fourth. But you'll get all answers. If I just said you, I want you to spell this next word that I say for you, you, and that's all I give them. I'm going to get back those four different versions of the U, right? And different versions of the Y, probably definitely the majority, right? And when you're programmed to spell a certain way, that's going to control the majority of the time, but there's other options, right? The problem is choice. Sometimes not having one, the other times making the right one, or realizing that you do have the choice. Right, so when I was doing this and I'm examining this, why don't you just meet me in the middle? Right, then I started to look at it, and like I said here on this channel, we're going to be relating into the calendar with the word, and we're going to link it all together. The calendars, Gregorian, Hebrew, Julian, all of it linked together, symbolism, words, numbers, all together. Well, here when I'm looking at it, I can see New Year's Eve, December 31st. Then I can see 11/23, November 23rd. And then I can see that the middle date between 12/31 and 11/23 is 12/12, December 12th. And if I'm talking Julian, the 12th, that 12/12 date, meet me in the middle, is 12/25, Christmas in Gregorian. Our Christmas date has two dates. Our Christmas is 12/25 in the Gregorian calendar that did not exist until 1582 when it was reformed. That's the only reason Christmas Day is on 12/25. Otherwise, on the original Julian calendar, if it kept going, it would be December 12th for the entire third day of the Gregorian reform. Skip 10 days, we're now 3 days of change later, the third day of the reform, so the 12/12. So that was something, and again, I've got to choose to see that way. Right? A lot of people might just look at that and have no thought in their mind about it relating into the calendar. And I probably, especially early on in the word, would have also not thought anything about that. But it took me years of experience with this word to start to see all of the different calendar connections and everything that it has within it. The clock, the calendar, the whole ball game, all the symbols, everything all together. So when I seen that, and also being familiar with the word, and the letter U that we're replacing in there, and this is how I express it on paper, and it's expressed left and right here, but I do it up and down, right? And if you meet me in the middle, why don't you meet me in the middle? 12/12. So when I'm hearing the right U in there, I get the right dates for the 12/12 and the right U written in written form, right? Provides the right numbers, again, meeting in the middle for the 12/12, whereas the other ones, right, produce different things. Why don't you just meet me in the middle? So this has big morals to, meaning, why don't you just meet me on Christmas Day? Why don't you just meet me in the middle, 12/12, equinox, right? And it's at the beginning, and then here it'll say, if we took that out, what would we say? Why don't just meet me in the middle? Now we're examining the rest of the story with the Y pulled out. The U pulled out. Why don't just meet me in the middle? Right, now let's convert that down here to where we would be and could be choosing to think about the chromosome Y, the male, right? Why don't just meet me in the middle, meaning what? Y takes more than half. Doesn't just meet me in the middle, comes to the middle, goes beyond the middle. Y don't just meet me in the middle. Y goes further than the middle. Y takes more light than I have. Y takes, in the minds of some people, 24 hours of light a day, every single day, and I have none at all every single day. Their mind is solstice every single day and never equinox. Why don't you just meet me in the middle? All right, so we're talking about light and dark shining upon the whole world. All right, because if the light is not shining upon the whole world, it is darkness. So we're talking about that, and we're also talking about Christmas Day. So again, examining the phrase out this way, which is a combination of written and spoken word examination of it with the understanding of the numbers of values of the word, right? So we got the calendar, we got the 12/12 date, the Christmas date, right? We've got the male and the female, and the light and the dark, and the whole thing, right in here. And that just comes from me having this word, familiarity with this word, in the ears to hear the spoken word enough to the point that I can examine the spoken word in the written word and see if there's anything to it. So I'm getting to this 12/12 here, all those different ways, right? Because I know this word and the values of this word, right? And meeting in the middle. And what is it all really about? Some first two characters from before the foundation. C from the foundation, found at ion. From before the found at ion. There is no ion, right? But in the setup of the values here, you have A is 4/4 in 1/3 of the total of B, or 1/2 of the total of B, but together in the total of AB, A is 1/3, B is 2/3, right? But the half and half is the 6 and the 6, which is carried by the U. Why don't you just meet me in the middle, right? And the ABBA thing, the ABBA, again, right, in the minds of a lot of people that are always on solstice, the male is 24 hours light and the female is 24 hours darkness. But what it really means is first and last and one and the same, right? The first will be last and the last will be first, and they're one and the same, right? Half and half. But when you get into this, and also you understand this part about the thirds, right? And they talk about somebody falling and taking 1/3 of the angels with them. Where would they be falling from, and which one would they be, right? This is a third. And then A and the B. But here we have the concepts of both God and Satan. Here is male, male. That's how male everything gets, right? You have the concept out there of God and God of this world, and a lot of minds out there who understand or believe or stand with that there's a difference between God and the God of this world, right? And that's where the whole 1/3 and whatnot comes in. And then in our phrase of why don't you just meet me in the middle, it's saying that the why don't just meet me in the middle, right? It takes more, two-thirds, right? Right? There's a lot of different things, and just this one small phrase from a song, listening to it in my ears and going in through here and taking a look into it, there's a lot of stuff that relates into this phrase, what I found, what I broke out of it just from examining this. I take it all over the place, right? Why don't you just meet me in the middle? Right? That's what it's about. It's the same thing. AB 1212, why don't you just meet me in the middle? So I don't know if this is the greatest video or not, but I think it's pretty significant and it kind of demonstrates some of the principles. And then we're going to be doing that. And I suggest that people, when they get within the word, to do that too. It's convert the word as you'd hear it into all of the possibilities that the language provides for you to make the choice as far as what you are hearing, right? When you're reading something, it's written, it's fixed. When you're hearing something, it's not fixed. There is variability with what you're hearing. So when we're examining words and phrases, it's important to take a look at those type of things. And also, if you're not finding anything numerically valuable, like I had found here, all the different connections through to the 1212, to the first two, right? Sometimes when you're converting it, you'll get you'll be able to pull other meanings that'll just out of reading it a different way, right? When you're replacing the word you at times with you, right? Now it's got a connotation of like a female sheep, right? We can open up a little bit different meaning or give you a different connection or thought out of whatever phrase you're examining, right? Just because you flipped it, you put in the meaning and the femininity of it in the place of that other you, right? And it's at least worth doing some thought experimentation, right? Even if you were adverse to using these numbers and you can't handle numbers at all, right? You can do that with just your regular word. Take a sentence or phrase and change all of the words that you can possibly change as far as if you were hearing that sentence said to you and not reading it, and then rewrite it with all the different possibilities, and then think about that phrase. You're going to get a ton more out of that phrase than if you just read it the way that it was written and left it exactly that way. You're leaving a lot of stuff on the table. There's a lot of potential for opening up different thoughts and connecting to different things when you convert the written word via using the spoken word. So with that said, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do, and have a nice day.